Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmasi Mirasi Ruspas Mordechai. Today's share is sponsored by Ari Davis from the famous London MDY Chabura in zchus of the biggest upcoming London Siyum for Succos. Join at tinyurl.com/MDY London Siyum sign up. Wow, that's not hard to remember. It's a tinyurl.com/MDY London Siyum sign up, one word. Gewaldig. So what do we have today? Well, we have Simon Jacobs, who came back from America, was at the Chasana, doing the Daf and Bidud. Great. We also have what?
Should have had a bottle of wine at the picture.
Yeah, who's Simon Jacobs? He came all the way from Yerushalayim to give me 4 bottles of Geschmack wine. I'm not going to say. What's the problem? Still a problem? What's the problem, Gershon? Tell me the problem. I want to start over because I got over 10 emails that there was an echo yesterday, so I'm not interested in echoes. Should we start over? I'll start over, no?
No, this new microphone fixes that.
We have a new microphone. Okay, Geschmack. Here, where's the new microphone that they brought in for? Records everything now. Gewaldig. Okay, if you're wondering why there's 2, now here is a text message somebody sent me that he put this poster in his status without soliciting anybody. He put this in his status and somebody says, F19. We know what F19 now means. Flatbush 19, Atzala. I'm going to do it. Now you can hold him to it. Nice. Beautiful. Couple of emails here. So we have from Ari Davis. Mazel tov on your recent Simcha. He saw that I'm not reading the emails, so he decided to sponsor a share. The MDY Tehillim is getting together for the Siyum. I was going to. You didn't have to. Mamish, you didn't have to. Wednesday, September 1st, at the Aviv restaurant in Edgeware, between 8 and 10 p.m. Okay. If you not have already signed up, call Ari Davis, 07966418419. And everybody else in the world could call that number too. Ari Davis from Golders Green, London. Roy Bernstein, thank you for your wonderful share. I watch it daily with my 14-year-old grandson all the way from Africa, South Africa. Cape Town, South Africa. Gewaldig. Also, if you'd like to have some MDY merchandise in South Africa. No. Rabbi said this is the first time I ever got a snail mail. Imagine the mail. I don't even know why. I only checked that mailbox once every 3-4 months. Kid you not. No, it's typed. This is from, the guy probably doesn't have email. Elio Nyman. He says, I'm amazed and should have joined earlier. Well, I do attend a regular Daf Yomi shir. Huh? There is an email address. Good point. He has email. But it gets your attention when it comes in the snail mail. I didn't even know they have that thing still. Where I'm about, I get invitations from like 3-4 years ago. All of a sudden it shows up in my mailbox. Where I decided to add some flavor to the daf. Begin with Mikar Masechta. Taking it upon myself to do chazara with your shir. Your entire shir is a lifesaver. It's live. The posters describing particular suga are extremely helpful. Your thorough explanation, along with any related topic to shir, adds so much flavor and as helpful chazara. I've never done chazara while attending a regular Daf Yomi shir. My shul, your live shir view during the remaining hours of the day. This remaining hours of the day, you could always chop a ryan. A few minutes here, there, it gave me the incentive. Maybe zchus to be the shliach in attracting many more to join you. Geschmack shir on a daily basis. B'kavod gadol Elio Nyman. Shkoyach Elio. A nice vart from Yosef Asiya. I want to add too. Why is it better to go to the Beis HaAvel, to the Beis HaSimcha? He heard this from an older bacher in his 40s. Because over there, you don't hear Emir Tzashem Bayu B'karev. Alan Zermak, you have mentioned today's share that your share is public on the internet. And not like the Gemara says, after retire b'seiser. Just on the contrary, there are so many of us that are listening to your shir in the middle of a busy work day when no one is around or on a bus. I guess he's sneaking the shear from his boss. He's on a bus and train where no one sees with zero fanfare. Your shear is very much besaser. Okay, lots of tzlacha to all you people in shear. Oh, and this one maybe we'll just leave for later. This is a mistake that I made in yesterday's shear. We could fix it in middle. This is from, okay, I'll just say it now, from Moshe Rosenheim, from Kiryat Sefer, aka the Ingeman on the treadmill, MDY Ingelite Vision. Don't forget, it's not the shear, it's the chever. That's how he signs off. But he said that I said that I could hear the shear. Who's listening? Who's listening to loud? Thank you. He said that I said that you pour in the wine into that shaft. It's not true. You pour it on the corner of the mizbeach and it flows into that shaft next to it. Very good. Before Sharashi, before Art Scroll, he says, as a younger man, he looked in the notes. Note 19, Ayin Chum. Okay, so we are 6 lines from the bottom. Rabbi say, today is a big simcha for all those who joined us. Mesechtes Brachas. Today, 600 days into the cycle. 600. It's huge. Of course, I'm not the one that came up with that date. It's David himself. All right. So, and for us, that we started in Avodah Zarah, it was very quiet yesterday. Did anybody notice? There's some guy in the back wasn't screaming every 2 seconds. Okay. Come over here, Yeshua. We've mamish missed you for the last 3 days. No, stay, whatever. We started, us guys, Ruvain, Ched, who's here, Noam, Fix, who else? You, Nachman, like a few days later. 1,289 days ago. Almost half a shas. 60 days away from half a shas. Unbelievable.
That's a big accomplishment.
It is. Half a shas. We're going to do a Siyum by you. Half a shas Siyum by you in your house. The full one will be by me. We say it on Shabbos night, Friday night. Pia Pascha b'chachma. V'soiras chesed al shayna. Did anybody ever think what the pshat in Toras chesed? There's regular Torah and there's Toras chesed. V'chiyash Torah shel chesed v'yish Torah she'en shel chesed. Says the Gemara, yes. Elo Torah l'shma. When you learn for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and for no other reasons on the side, zui Torah shel chesed. Yeah. Shaloi l'shma zui Torah she'en shel chesed. It's Torah, but it's not shel chesed. I'm talking shaloi l'shma, but it's not on the same madrega. Some say Torah l'lamda, when you teach it to others, zui Torah shel chesed. You're learning Torah and you're doing for others chesed. Shaloi l'lamda, zui Torah she'ena shel chesed. All right, says the Gemara. K'maser b'chal. So gathering the water for the nisuch hamayim on Shabbos was the same exact thing. However, in order not to carry the water from the shiluach all the way to the English, they would gather it and put it in a golden barrel, which was not mekudesh, didn't have kedusha. But why not? The Gemara wants to understand why not. Let him bring the water in a barrel that's mekudesh. In other words, it's not a kasha. We're just trying to explain what the Mishnah is talking about. So we're going to go like this. This might be more confusing, but it's a chart, nevertheless, who cares? You don't have to pay attention to this. The Gemara understands in the beginning, in the Hava Amina, that there's 2 conditions. First of all, you cannot put more or less water in a kli in order to be mekadesh. If you put more water than necessary, then it's not right for the kli. So the kli doesn't give a kedusha. So how does it work? You have a kli typically made out of gold, silver in the Beis HaMikdash. This kli has kedusha, and it's able to be mekadesh other things like water, flour, wine. Whatever you put inside, it becomes kaddish. That's only if you put the right amount. So for Nisuch HaMayim, we need 3 lugin. So if you put 3.1 lug, it will not make it kaddish. Why? Because it's not right. It's too much. Because there's a shear. The Gemara understands that there's a shear to how much water there is. It has to be exactly 3 lug. And if you put 4 lug, you pour 4 lug on the mizbeach, no good. It has to be exactly 3. And if you put less than 3 lug in this kli, it's also not mekadesh. So you have to take a measuring cup and put in exactly 3 lug, and then it becomes kaddish. That's number 1. Number 2, so now I have an eitzah. Why put it in a barrel that's gold and not kaddish? Put it in a barrel that has kedusha. Just put 4 lug in there. If you put 4 lug, then the barrel doesn't have the ability to be mekadesh it. And therefore what? Therefore, it could stay overnight. Because anything that's really Kaddish, Kedushas Haguf, the Kedusha goes into it inherently, then you can't leave it overnight in the Beis HaMikdash. You can't be there overnight. But since it's not going to have Kedusha, because it's 4 lug, not 3 lug, so put it in a Kli that's Kaddish. Why are you going out of your way and finding some Kli in a Beis HaMikdash that's not Kaddish? It's very hard to find something like that. That's number one. Number two, put it in the Kli and don't have in mind to be Mekadesh it. The Gemara understands that you need 2 conditions. You need das. Tzarech das. You need to have in mind. So don't have in mind. Put it in a Kli that's Kadosh, all the Kedushas in the world, and just say to yourself, I'm not going to be Mekadesh this water. Just like we're not Yaitza with this Esrig. So you do it in your head. I'm not Mekadesh. And finished. But that's in the Havamina. Ziri comes along and says, these 2 rules are wrong, the exact opposite. So that's one answer. And then we're going to have another answer at the end. These 2 rules are right. Okay, let's see inside. So again, the Gemara is asking, why can't you put it into a barrel that has Kedusha, just put too much water in there? Or have a thought and say to yourself, I don't want it to become Kaddish. You need my Kain's thought, or whoever's putting it in there, to make it Kaddish. Amaziri kosavar, number 1, ein shir lamayim. So if you put in 4 lug instead of 3 lug, it will become Kaddish. Why? Because ein shir lamayim. There is no shir. So if you put more, it becomes Kaddish. And uklei sharis mekachim shaloi midas. So basically, Zir is saying these 2 assumptions you made in your question are the reverse, exact opposite. I disagree with both of them. Vi Maisi B'Mkudeshes, and the Gemara on top of Nun says, Nun, 49 dafin, but it's an unbelievable number. Vi Maisi B'Mkudeshes. Now, if you do bring it in a Kli that's Mekudesh, then it has Kedushas Haguf, this water. If Silulu Belina, then it's going to become possible by sleeping overnight. And we don't want that, because we're bringing in on Friday, because you can't carry. Bring it on Friday. Friday night, it becomes already possible, and I can't bring it on Shabbos. Oh, so apparently not. The Kli has power just to be in college. You can't have against it, right? Thought about it for a second, but this is not like I'm being yotz. You put this in a Kli. The Kli is Kaddish. You know what I'm saying? It has that Kedusha. You can't do anything about it. It's like Tumah. I don't want this thing to become Tameh. It's the opposite. It's kind of the reverse, you know? Kedusha and Tumah. Chizkiya Amar. Kli shareis ein mekachin elo midas. See, he argues on one thing. He says, you're right. From our Mishnah, you could prove that ein shir lamayim. Okay, ein shir, that I'll agree to. But one thing is, you need das. Okay, so you need das. But das is not something that I could tell if you had das or not. If I put in too much water and I'm a bystander, I see you put in a lot of water, and therefore it's not Kaddish. But there's another problem here. The problem is, I don't know what's going on in your head. You tell me that you thought that it shouldn't become Kaddish, and I don't know that. I think that you thought that it should become Kaddish. How do I know? I'm just a bystander. I'm one of the visitors in the Beis HaMikdash. I don't know what's going on. Since it's something you can't know, other people will see it, and they'll say, look, there was das, it did become Kaddish, and Lina is not a problem. So tomorrow, this guy's going to eat his carbon or whatever it is that slept overnight, so to speak, in the Beis HaMikdash that had Lina, and that's a problem. I don't want people to get confused. Omer Rabbi Yanai and Reb Zera, or Omer Rabbi Yanai, Nagoris Reb Zera wasn't in that generation, it was much later. Afilu Tema Yeshir Lamayim. Ukli Shores Emikachim Elamadas. I'll go with both of these things. Yeshir Lamayim, like the Havamina. You see over here I wrote Havamina and Rabbi Yanai. Because Rabbi Yanai says, I'll go with the Havamina, the opposite of Zeiri. Yeshir Lamayim. It has to be exact. And if you go more, everybody knows right away that it's not Kaddish. Ukli Shores Emikachim Elamadas. And a klisharis, I need the person's mind and his intent to make it Kaddish. So what's the problem over here? So then I have a question. Why do you use a barrel that's not Kaddish? Use a barrel that's Kaddish. Just think to yourself, it's not Kaddish. Or put in a lot. Put in 4 lug, not 3 lug. this water is so old, this is still from Yom Kippur's water. What happened in Yom Kippur? Let's see. Oh, where's that picture? Not in order today. Yeah, here. This is still a picture from Yuma. Here's the Kohen Gadol, on Yom Kippur, one day a year. Instead of washing his hands and feet directly from the kiyar, he used a golden vessel. So they're going to say, now how much do you need? How much water for the golden vessel? Even 100 lug, says Rashi. There's no shear, because he keeps on pouring on his feet as much as he wants. He's taking a shower now. There's no shear. So Mela, people are going to say, you used water, really old water. That's mamish lina. You're right. Typically, by us, there's a shear. And you need das. But he's not even using this water. He didn't fill it up on Friday. He filled it up 15 days ago. Or no, Yom Kippur to Succos, whatever. A few days ago. So Mela, that's the problem. That's the gzera. Fine. New sugya. Nishbecha oynis galsa. So if the water spilled, but we're talking about the next word is galsa, it became uncovered. Mayim megulim, uncovered water. Hustle to do miso chamayim v'amay li'aber b'misanenes. Let him put it through a sifter, and then what? And then he'll know whether or not there's poison in there. Now, they ask a question: how can you put it through a sifter? It's bayr. How are you allowed to do bayr? So I saw Rabbi Yashiv says a beautiful pshat, a nice chap. So bayr, what happened? Let's put it through the misanenes, says Rabbi Yashiv. Put it through the sifter. If the venom doesn't come out on top, then you didn't do bayr. There's nothing happened. You just put water through a sifter and water came out and nothing was sifted. And if there is poison, then it's garbage. Then the water is garbage and the poison is garbage. So it's psoilus and psoilus, and it's fine. That you could do. You could separate psoilus and psoilus. I didn't see the teretz anywhere else. They bring the kash. I didn't see.
Looks like butter.
Looks is fine. What?
It's larasai.
You mean you could drink it?
The whole idea here is to sift it and use it.
So we'll see in a second. You can't use it.
Obviously, but at the question, of course, the Gemara is understanding we should use it.
Okay. So on the question, the answer you can't use it. I don't know. Fine. Let's see. Don't ruin it. It's such a beautiful thing. I like this so much. You ruined the Givali Pshat.
Anyways, the best minute you're allowed to do whatever you
You can't. We'll see. There's certain things you can't. That you're talking about shvus. But where is the Reisa?
The best minute the malach.
No, but not for that. The malachas that they did, but not side malachas. Says Gemara, maybe this is a proof, not like Reb Nechem. So if there is a strainer, and why do you use a strainer? Let's say with wine. It says Rashi, very interesting. You know, like you read the bottles of wine, it says aroma of raspberry and then it's cinnamon, and it tells you all these things. So what? Note? Oh, notes of raspberry. Yeah, okay, I got it. Okay. Gee, Levi, I didn't know you're holding. I thought you'd buy that 7 shekel wine. Okay. I didn't see it on the. Ooh, I shouldn't say the word because tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Erase. Okay, fine. So Rashi says very interesting. They took a strainer, sort of like we would do for coffee. You put in some cinnamon, some raspberries of this, and then you pour the wine over it, and whatever comes out with a little bit of a flavor and aroma of these spices. That's why there's a misanenet. I'm just saying, why do you put a misanenet there? Not for poison or anything. The opposite. We're trying to bring flavor in. So even if you have a strainer, the venom of the snake could still go through, says this Mando Amar. So a strainer is not going to help you. How thin is this? Is the venom of a snake different in consistency than water, than wine? I wouldn't think so, personally. I don't think that if you put venom, it's like a liquid, just like any other liquid, and you put it through a strainer. If wine can go through the strainer, so can the venom go through the strainer. I'm not going to drink that wine. That's what the Tanna Kama says. I disagree. Not true. Basically, he argues and he says that the strainer has the ability to catch the venom. In other words, he's saying that if the strainer covers whatever it covers, nothing is going to get through there. The venom is not going to get through. Unless he says, okay, fine, if the strainer doesn't cover the entire surface area, it's only half, you put it in, you hold it on the side with some whatever, then I agree with you that it's megula. Then a snake will go through the side and put it in his venom. But if it covers the entire surface, I hold that the venom is not going to go through. It's like a sponge. It floats. So he holds that venom floats. That's the Gemara. So according to Nechemia, that venom floats. Why can't I throw this water through a strainer and see if there's any venom that floats? Says the Gemara, Filu Tamer Ibn Nechemia. Says the Gemara, major Yisoid in Yiddishkeit. We had it a number of times. It's very, very important Yisoid for Rosh Hashanah coming up. Afilu Tamer Ibn Nechemia. Eimed the Omer Ibn Nechemia lahedget. You want to go ahead and drink it. You had a fly that fell into your soda and you want to take it out and drink it. Good for you. Do that. Aval Gavaya mi Omar. But you're going to do that for Hashem? You're going to have a beverage that has poisonous venom in there, and you're going to remove it with a strainer and then serve it like Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What's wrong with you? Look at this pasuk. Unbelievable. We have to take this pasuk to heart. If you are to bring a blind animal as a carbon, you say to yourself, what does that Kadosh Baruch Hu care? You think he cares? As long as you have the right das, it's in here. What? Exactly. Cain and Hevel. Hevel brought fruit. Cain brought an animal. And Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't take. Cain brought the animal, no. Hevel brought the animal, Cain brought the food. And Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Cain, I don't want you. I don't want your fruit. Yeah, shkoyach. Why? What does Kadosh Baruch Hu care? He cares. He cares. Here's the pasuk. He cares. You'll say, it's just us. We're just human beings. We're palabatim. If you bring a blind animal to Hashem, ain't raw. What's not bad? It's bad. A lame animal. And the sick animal. Ain't raw. It's not bad. Let me see you, big shot. Bring it to your local ruler. The guy in charge. Let's say you want to make an addition on your house. You're going to bring a rotted apple as a gift. You're going to give him geschmack stuff. Like my mother-in-law. I told you this, Mice, no? When Eli used to fly direct to Chicago, so there's a famous guy, his name was Gary, he was in charge. Every time she went to the airport, she would bring him a massive tray of Romanian meat. Over $150 every single time. And La Maisa, the guy used to upgrade us to business like nobody's business. Every single time. Seriously. Every time he came in, oh yeah, I have a couple of extra seats in business. And my brother-in-law, Bensi, when he got married, I don't know, I just remember this sight of 20 suitcases, literally 20 suitcases, all for free. Just bring them on. And one time I didn't have something and he stopped the plane. He didn't let it take off until I had a certain document. I don't remember what it was. Passport? I don't even know what it was. Mishuga, just a tray of it. But if we were to give him a fruit, a couple of apples, yeah, it has to be the right way. But the bottom line is, will Hashem take this? You see the pasuk, a human being won't take this. So why would you bring it for me? So many times I've tried this on my children. It's not good advice. I'm not very good at the chinuch thing. But I'll tell my kids, what? You're going to walk into shul with flip-flops? Seriously? That's how you're going to talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But it's the pasuk. It's better than the pasuk. They think I'm crazy. And I probably shouldn't tell it to them. But this is how you come in. Like right after playing football, you're going to walk into shul with your what? Get over here with your flip-flops. Get over here. Lamai said, you made a tremendous investment. What, 100 Gemaras he did for Succah? He doesn't want to say, maybe more, I don't even know. A lot of money. So maybe that's why you don't have money for real shoes. Unbelievable. Tremendous investment. But
today, I was running late.
you were running late. But no, seriously speaking, I have a group of friends in Chicago, great guys, and they sat there and they were telling me one day how they met Obama. I think it was Obama. I thought maybe it was Trump, but it was Obama. They told me how they came mamish vapits with their best custom-made suits, with their best jokes. They were on, you think they pulled out their cell phone while they were schmoozing with him? And hey, you know, I'm here with Obama, da-da-da-da. They were sittering, they were mamish. They told me there's 16, 20 Secret Service everywhere, and everything you say and everything you do. And this is to Basar Adam. Okay, so he's the most powerful man in today's society. But Basar Adam. So you come into the shul. I'm talking to myself, Betzim. It's if we have this thing for Rosh Hashanah, Melech Malchei Amlachim, we're Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we have to think about it. He's Melech Malchei Amlachim. Does he care? Yes, he cares. Look. He cares. Don't say, I'm just a shaitan. He doesn't care. I could talk on my phone and that. You would never do it to a president. You would never pull out your cell phone in front of a president, so don't do it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you would never wear flip-flops to Obama thing.
Obama would
Ay, all right, anyways. Hadran Allah. Hadran Allah. Lulav Arava. Hadran Allah. Lulav Arava. Hadran Allah, Lulav Arava. We need a niggin here, no? Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. Okay, you giving me a good niggin for. We finished the perek.
7:45.
Yaakov says no niggin, so two nigginim. All right. So now we're in the last perek of Masechta Sukkah. Very sad. A week from now, we're going to be finished with Masechta Sukkah and on to another beautiful Masechta. I think it's only a month long, that Masechta, no? Right, so another month. Hecholil Chamisha V'Shisha. So continuing on, if you remember, Daf Mem Beis. This thing has to be, it says red. Does that mean the battery's dead? We didn't have you yesterday. Wow, it's a good thing they brought that new thing. What does that mean? So now YouTube's not going to have any...
I don't care about the live people.
If you're watching YouTube live, go to Zoom right now because I think the sound is about to die. Yeah, but what about Zoom? How are they?
I don't care about the live guys.
Oh, there's a lot of guys in live.
I love them. I love them all.
Gary, can I switch this one?
Yeah, he wants to switch the sound,
I can raise the volume.
and it's charged. See what happens when you leave us for the morning?
You're a great man.
Look on the screen. Make sure there's something on the screen.
3 microphones.
Yeah, big tutzach. Competition with those guys, the tutzachs with the 3 cell phones. I have 3 microphones. What do you think this is? This is a joke? This is a real share. Look at this. Wires coming out of everywhere. Oh, it's not to the point that I could tuck it in. It's everywhere. It's 3. Okay. Look at this. It's like Hadassim. You need 3. It's unbelievable. This doesn't look good. I'll put it over here like this.
10 minutes.
All right. Zog the Gemara. Zog the Mishnah. So if you remember that Mem Beis, we had a whole Mishnah of different things. And now the previous Mishnayos were explaining that Mishnah Mem Beis, and now we're continuing. I don't know why it's a new parak. It's a new parak. Hechalil, the flute. Flute. You picture in your mind what it looks like. Chamisha v'shisha. Now, first of all, we have to understand that the flute is not only the flute. The flute means all the kelim in the Beis Hamikdash, whatever they had, different instruments. Why is it called a flute? There's a number of reasons. Some say, like when you start a song in a concert or whatever, the drummer gives like a beat or something. So the flute was the first thing that started. You heard a and then everybody started after that. So that's why it's called a chal, or it was the most prominent sound. You were able to hear that the most. Chamisha v'shisha. So real quickly, you have here, this is, let's say in a year that the first day of Yom Tov is on Shabbos, Friday, Thursday. Thursday right over here. So you cannot play the flute on the day on Yom Tov. And you can't either play it on Shabbos. So now day 1 and 3, you cannot play it. So if you're going to take off day 1 and 3, 2 days from the 7 days of Succos, so now you're left with 5 days. That's Chamisha. Shisha is if the first day of Yom Tov falls out on Shabbos, then you could play, then you have more chalamayit, and you can play the flute for 6 days. This is the flute that we're talking about by the Sheyeva, the Simcha of, here, right over here in this picture, the Simcha of them drawing the water and about to do Nisach HaMayim, which is once a year on Succos. She'enoi doicha lois HaShabbos v'lois HaYontev. Since it's only Simcha, Chachamim or Masakin, it's Gzer D'Rabbanan, not to use instruments on Shabbos. Maybe I'll come to fix it. Okay, fine. But since it's not so important, so Mamela, it doesn't push off. Even in the Beis Hamikdash, it doesn't push off. Today's Turning of the Daf, sponsored by the MDY Tehillim group, for all those who need Shidduchim, Refuas and Yeshuos. Meanwhile, you guys can turn the Daf to Amud Beis. Please join Tehillim.8mindav.com. And by Shlomo Lalezarian from Los Angeles, in honor of Rebelli's wife, for sacrificing her life in order for me to prepare this year. Shkoyach. Itmar. Rav Yehuda v'Raveina Chatani Shoyeva v'Chatani Chashuva. We had it in a number of places. Places brings here in Avodah Zarah, they say Eda with the Aleph, with the Ayin. Different places in Shas. That the word in the Mishnah, did it say Shoyeva or did it say Chashuva? Shoyeva means to draw. Now there's a beautiful, beautiful Taisus. Let's see Taisus inside. Top Taisus. V'Yerushalmi Mefarish Misham Shoyavim Ruach HaKodesh. Shoyeva means to draw. They drew Ruach HaKodesh. Simple people. Not Reb Chaim Kanievskis of the world, the regular people. Because when you're there and there's simcha, that's when that song. They brought in the instruments so that Ruach HaKodesh could fall on him. Amazing. Yaina Hanavi. That there's a whole the Navi for him. Shahayim Oiler Regal means a regular man who is Oiler Regal. Ubesimchas Beisas She'eva Shorsa Olav Shchina. And because he went to the Simchas Beisas She'eva, he became a Navi through that. He wasn't a Navi beforehand. Omar Marzutra, Man Detani She'eva Lo Mishtabish, Man Detani Chashuva Lo Mishtabish. You're not making a mistake. Any way you read it, it's not a mistake. Man Detani She'eva Lo Mishtabish, you didn't make a mistake. Dichsiv Usha'aftem Maim Besasa, in the pasuk we had and we sang already. Draw water, bisasayin. What does bisasayin mean? Bisimcha. And if you say the word is chashuv, like we had yesterday, it's a very important mitzvah. It's so important that Kadosh Baruch Hu created it in Sheshis Mebereshis, and it's the first word of the Torah, Barashis. It's part of that mitzvah of drawing the water and pouring it on the Mizbeach and putting in the shitin that go down into the time, whatever the reason is. Tanrabanon hecholil doiches haShabbos. Oh, okay. This I made for the earlier suga. Kol anagea b'migdash. Rashi brings the pasuk that you can't have machshava. You see, no, it's a mefurish pasuk. Kol anagea b'migdash becomes kodesh by touching it. Says the Gemara, hecholil doiches haShabbos. The flute. We'll push off Shabbos. The word chol means choli koli. It's a sweet song. Divrei Rabbi Yosi bar Yehuda v'chacham roimim af yontev eini doicha. So machlaik is here. Does the flute push off Shabbos? Chacham say it doesn't even push off Yontev, which is less than a Shabbos. Amar Rabbi Yosef, and I'll explain to you. Machlaik is b'shir shel karban. Machlaikis is when the Levim sing the song for the karbanos. Now Rashi brings. He doesn't specify, but he says that the Gemara says that there's 12 times a year, 12 days a year that you use a flute. Very interesting. Now, this is for 1,000 points, and if you look at Rashi, it doesn't count. Well, I mean, you're not going to see it in Rashi. But let's see if you can figure out the 2 days that are not on this list. The 8 days of Succos, meaning 7 plus Shmini Atzeres, 8 days of Succos, that's 8. 1 day, the first day of Pesach, and the first day of Shavuos. What are the other 2 days that you play the flute? Yeah. Why Pesach Sheni? He says Pesach Sheni. Anyway, the answer is for 1,000 points. You get 500 points because you got half. Pesach Sheni and Erev Pesach when you're bringing the Korban Pesach. It's for the bringing of the Korban Pesach. The 2 times you bring Korban Pesach, Korban Sheni, Yudal Nisan, Yudal Iyar. Okay. The Rabbi Yossi saw var ikar shira bekli va'avodahi v'doiches haShabbos. Rabbi Yossi holds, how do you play a song in the Beis Hamikdash? With instruments. So it's machlokes. We have the shaila today also. Is the ikar the mouth, the singer? Like that music that we have for, like, the Sphera music, what is it called? The a cappella. Is that the ikar? Or is the ikar the whole arrangements of the music, of the instruments? If you hold it's the instruments, ikar shira bekli, the instruments, va'avodahi, so therefore it's part of the avodah, it's a doiraisa. The pasuk says that you should have a shira. It just doesn't say how, but you hold this with the instruments. Therefore, v'derech Shabbos, so pushes off Shabbos. Yes, the Torah says you should sing with the korbanos, but that's with your mouth. Now you want to accompany it with instruments, that's great, but it's not doiches Shabbos. As we said in the Mishnah, the shir that they played and they're all excited bringing the water, that's not in the Torah. That's just to express our tremendous simcha. And once again, Rashi says the words chavivus ha-mitzvah. Again, you could have a mitzvah and you could have a mitzvah. You do a mitzvah and you go with all the nigunim and all the songs and everything. Yeah, like for instance, bikurim, you bring a basket of fruit to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like Kain or Hevel.
Kain was fruit.
Okay. Kain was fruit.
Like you said, I'm meaning for people.
No, that was to give me a patch. Oh, that was Rebbe. So Nachamal, who is it? Kain is fruit. Kain is fruit. Hevel. Okay. So when you bring fruit, but sometimes you bring fruit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says bring the fruit, and the wealthy people would put gold on the horns of the animals bringing the fruit. Because it's not just the fruit, it's how you bring it, it's how you do it. L'chaviv mitzvah. Okay, it's very nice. You want to be mechaviv the mitzvah, and you bring a beautiful esrog box, and you do that, but it's not something that's doiches Shabbos. Or Rav Yosef, how do I know that this is the machlokes is whether the song, the shir is with the mouth or with a kli? The sanya, kli shares, shasam shalates. Rabbi Paisel, Rabbi Yosef reviewed the machshir. We have a machlokes. Can I make any kli shares? Yes, here. Take a look over here. Like in this one, obviously we said is gold. But what happens if you take any kli shares? Yeah, this guy. You take this kli. This is a kli shares. And you make it out of wood. Make a nice gold, wooden vessel. Puzzle or not puzzle? Kli sharis. We're not talking about the kli shira. Kli sharis. A shovel made out of wood instead of gold. Kli sharis asam shalates. Rabbi Paisa, Rabbi Yuda, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Yuda machshir. What's machlokes? The man the machshir savar ikar shira bekli v'alfino ma'buva de Moshe. You can learn from the flute of Moshe Rabbeinu that was made out of a reed, which is wood. So if Moshe Rabbeinu used it and it's kosher, so I could use all my kalim, all my instruments can be made out of wood. And if those instruments are made out of wood, then all the clay shards could also be made out of wood. But if the instruments are not part of it, it's just a nice thing to have. So I can't learn anything from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu just played a flute, but it's not a kli sharis. It's not like this right over here. The Torah says he needs a kli sharis. The Torah says by a shovel you take the Torah and a kli and a kaf. That's a kli sharis. Torah doesn't say to use a flute. He decided on his own to use a flute to make it nice. That's not a kli. So that's guva the machlokes. No, instruments are not part of it. They just added it to accompany, but the ikar is the singing with the mouth. And we do not learn anything out from the flute of Moshe. Says the Gemara, no, we don't have any proof here. Loi, that's not the machlokes. Maybe the machlokes is different. There's no way to make a flute out of metal. So Rashi brings it, but if you want to see it even more, Rabbeinu Chanal on the side, he just adds 1 or 2 words, but it makes it more gishmak for me. It's mamish smack in the middle. V'tziva melech. So he just says melech. The king said, I see the flute for Moshe Rabbeinu, put a bunch of gold on it, cover with gold. And then it stopped making a nice sound. So then, and then so they removed the gold plate. Then it went right back to where it was. In other words, don't try to beautify it with gold and metal. It's not the same thing. You want a nice flute that has good sound, you have to do it a certain way. So Mela, it's dafka that kli that you have to make out of wood. But if I take this kli that I could make out of gold and I make out of wood, of course it's not good. Just don't bring any raya from a flute that there's no way to make it out of gold. That is the way to make it. The way to make it is out of a reed, not out of gold. So that's machlokes. Can I learn? Or maybe not. Look, at the end of the day, we introduced a wooden kli to the Beis Hamikdash, so all kelim could be wood. Or again, there's no hechrach. That's what the Gemara likes to do. There's no proof because I could go in different directions. Everybody agrees that the main singing is with the mouth. And you cannot learn out all the kelim from Moshe Rabbeinu's flute. By the way, don't get too scared. It's only to the bottom of the page, and it's a very, very, very simple thing. Here it goes. The words in the Torah are Vasisa Menoras Zav Tar Mikshatiyas in blue. Now, there's two ways to learn. Vasisa Menoras is just a generalization, basically. It's a general thing. Make a menorah. How? Anyway, with wood, with gold, with silver, with metal, whatever you want. Stone. And then a second later, the next words, Zav Tar, specifically out of gold. But then the Torah says, Mikshatiyasa ha-menorah. Make it from something solid. So the Gemara understands that that's a klal or a riboy. So there's two ways to learn in the Torah. You have to pick and choose for the whole Torah. You can't just say, in this posting I want to go like that. If you're of the opinion that in the whole Torah we go, like you say in the morning, klal or pratik klal, prat. So you have like this. Klal, prat, klal. They're different in a way. What's the difference? When the Torah says klal, it means everything. Then the Torah explains. Prat is an explanation. And then the Torah elaborates on an explanation. So over here, this case. Make a menorah out of any material in the world. No, let me explain to you what I meant. Zav tar. But let me elaborate. It's not just zav, but it's any metal you want. All metals of the world. Klal, prat, klal. That's because the prat is an explanation of the klal. But if I do riboy, miyot, riboy, it's different. This is a riboy. And the Arshul calls it amplification. The other one is generalization, specification, amplification, limitation. In other words, I'm amplifying, everything is mutter. But then the miyot is not an explanation. It's not an explanation. I'm just taking it down a level. Don't do everything, take it down a level. It's not explaining. And then when I add again, I do another riboy, I'm adding more things to it. So what am I left with? I'm only going to exclude one item in the entire world. Over here, klal prat klal, I'm going to exclude, it has to be very similar to the prat. So I'm going to exclude many items. It has to be metal. You can't use stone, can't use wood, you can't use any other material. But when I have a riboy miyut, it's not explanation. So I'm just limiting the big riboy. So I'm going to limit one item. What? Earthenware. That's the whole nafkamina here. Okay, so let's see it inside. No, because riboy miyut is more like a klal. Riboy miyut is like klal pratu klal. It ends up like a klal. Okay, whatever. Says the Gemara. They have a question how to learn menorah. Rabbi Darish klal prati. But it has nothing to do if the shira was bepeh or not bepeh. Rabbi Darish klal prati v'asisa menorah as klal. You should make a menorah out of anything. Zav tar explains that klal and says prat. It has to be a certain way. Not only gold, but I'm gonna allow you within the prat to go a little bit further and say all metals, not just gold. So klal prat to klal. Prat. Ma prat mefurish shamateches. It says mefurish in the Torah has to be made out of a type of metal called gold. Afkol shamateches. It's different. So you have a riba kol. It includes everything. My Rabbi kol mili, any material in the world. My miyat, but at the end of the day, you have the miyot, zavtar, that comes to only to exclude one item, shocheres, of earthenware. Rabbi Isai, have a great day.